Buenos días, señoras y señores, distinguished guests. Very nice to be here in Colombia today and have a chance to speak about this ultra specialty standard. So thank you for organizers. Thank you, Henry, for inviting me. Well, let me start. I've presented I made this presentation first time in Korea in November on World Coffee Leaders Forum, where I spoke about an hour about the topic. So you're in luck, it's going to be only 25 minutes. Specialty Coffee Association last year published white paper on what specialty coffee is. And they came out with thesis that persistent challenge facing the specialty coffee industry is fundamental one. How do we define specialty coffee in the first place? I recommend everyone to read it because it's very vague. They suggesting that specialty coffee is coffee or coffee experience recognized for its distinctive attributes. And because of these attributes, has significant extra value in the marketplace. The paper is called Towards the Definition of Specialty Coffee. Now, from the definition, we can imagine what specialty coffee is, right? It will be pretty much anything. It will be kopi luwak. It has distinctive attributes, and it's okay. You know, I feel that anything can be specialty if it scores 80 points, if it's distinctive attributes. That's photo right there from South Korea, where I was. I went to Starbucks and I got myself a cup of coffee because I was looking for some amazing coffee, and I just put it in a Google search. I put specialty coffee. The Starbucks are popping up. So I got myself coffee. This coffee is nota bene sold by Caravella to Starbucks. This is a very small farm of about 100 only male farmers, and yeah, I really admire how the guy there was presenting me the coffee, but the coffee was completely burned. It didn't represent I didn't feel it represent the farmers. I think it damaged, if anything, the reputation, which is a shame. Why Starbucks, is burning our coffee? Well, because of consistency. Then we have another picture here from a hotel in South Korea. That was Brazilian specialty coffee. There's nothing really written about it, where it comes from, and what's the farm and how it's roasted. But it's written specialty coffee. I understand. This is good coffee, and there's nothing to judge. And then we have a coffee with milk there. I'm not really good at latte art, but I've done it at home. Now, I really like calimocho. I don't know if you know what's calimocho. It's Coke and wine. When I was a student back in Spain, we were drinking a lot of calimocho. But you wouldn't use like Petrus for calimocho, because that would be waste, right? And if we're talking about super high-end coffees, and coffees, how we're looking for particular flavors coffees, the coffee with milk is not the purest form, right? So I'm looking for something higher. We need higher standards, because otherwise we're gonna call everything specialty, and there will be nothing super special or ultra special, as I call it, non plus ultra. There's nothing above. We don't have the standards. Coffee is super complex food, probably the most complex of all drinks. We need the producer who is putting his soul, heart, all livelihood on producing perfect cup. Then we have a roaster who knows what to do. Then we have a seller who needs to sell the coffee, but We don't have standards in either of them, really, like really standards. And then we have a brewer who needs to make a perfect cup, needs to use all his skills. I argue that if we don't nail each stage of a coffee chain, let's say, they call it perfect chain, then we'll never be able to guarantee our customers these flavors of coffee which are intended by producer. The coffee is usually washed in the process, and the customer is confused. What's good, what's bad. As an industry, we are quite good in alienating customers with, slogans, with pretentious comments, because we don't have even standard for selling. In wine industry, there are standards. There's Court of Sommeliers. You have to be charming to sell wine to the customer. In coffee, we don't have to be charming. We just have to have nothing, really. We can have a brewing professional, but it doesn't really make us seller, does it? It doesn't make us represent the hard work of the farmers in a good way. Right. This is coming from a SCA published report. This data were collected between 2011 and 2016. They are identifying specialty coffee drinker. So SCA make the attempt of identifying who is the specialty coffee drinker and what are her preferences. On the first chart here, we have a tendency of people who are, so they call it adopters and super users. The adopters were people who are going from traditional drinking, traditional coffee, let's say darker roast and not specialty, and they are going to become super users. Super user is a person who is drinking exclusively specialty coffee. Now, the specialty users, and adopters, they changing their preferences over time, and they prefer darker and darker roast. And I argue this is because there's a lot of underdeveloped coffees, under-roasted coffees, a lot of vegetal flavors out there on the market. This fight between, against Starbucks and just going, to 5% development in your roast and, serving customers just weak vegetal extract and calling it specialty. Because of the lack of standards, because of the lack of agreement what it is, people are alienated more and more. And what's more striking is people who are super users and people who are adopters, they hate term specialty. They will never actually, only 17% of the super users and adopters, they allowing to call coffee specialty. They much prefer premium and gourmet, which are also not defined terms, but they don't have a bad association. I always imagine this old Italian guy coming to the coffee shop and he's asking for espresso and the barista is giving him SL28, which is, citrusy and maybe under-extracted as well. And the Italian guy is coming back to his home and telling all his family, do not go to specialty coffee. They serving some citric juices. We really need to fix it. We need to know how to approach this guy. If somebody is coming to you and you are the seller, you are a certified seller, and he's telling you that he drank in the morning Nescafe, that's great. Encourage him. Okay, what did you like about it? Was it a little bitter? Did you put some sugar? You can put the person on the journey towards better coffees. But don't impose on them, citric acids. There is more things with that. I just took this too because the presentation is super short. But also all the adopters and super users, super specialty users, they all drink coffee with cream, milk, and sugar. So are those people actually, finding this unique flavors in a coffee, or they just want a coffee? Are those people representing specialty customers? Well, maybe they are. So I will move out from speaking about specialty, so coffees between 80 to 88. And I think we'll need super high standards. We need to define what are those customers, the purists, the people who look for nuances in coffee, the people who know how to brew coffee, the people who essentially drink coffee 88 plus. And can we guarantee to these people that they're going to have the same experience as intended by producers? So if the coffee was produced by 88 plus, was scored by Q graders, or won a competition, can we ensure that this coffee was roasted correctly, that this coffee is sold correctly, that we know how to represent the farmers, that we know how to represent this hardworking producer with the selling standards, and then with the brewing standards? Right. In the meantime, in the parallel universe, over the last 15 years right now, the prices of winning lots, they're going up like a lot. So this is, and the quality of coffee is going a lot up. So we have 2007, when we had the first Cup of Excellence in Costa Rica, the minimum score was 84 points, and there was only 25 finalists. And we can see the scores are going up and up. Right now, the minimum number to get to the final of Cup of Excellence is 87 points. And as you see here, we always get 30 coffees right now. So while in 2007 we couldn't get 30 coffees, we couldn't get more than 25 coffees that score 84 to get to the final, right now we're constantly hitting 30. This is with the development of technology and sorting and processing. I kept quite a lot of coffees from Brazil, from infamous Santos region, and it's hard to actually find defects there, so the coffee will score 80. So my argument is that everything is specialty, it's almost everything. Now we have Best of Panama, it's amazing competition. During last 3 years, the prices are doubling every year. These guys, they're doing some amazing things, amazing branding, and they're selling coffees to the right guys, I guess. 2021, the average price per pound of coffee was $255. And it's double the previous year. So the market is there, and we just need to ensure that the quality can follow. This is from Bogota. I've been there last week, and I've ordered the best coffee they had. That was a competition coffee, was Sidra, anaerobic processed, and this barista lady, she made it for me, and she told me she had a sip when she finished the first brew that was Chemex, and she was not happy with it, and she told me, I'm so sorry, I'm going to make another one because I'm not happy with the results. And I think this is super important, to promote those winning lots, to charge for them a lot, but to realize, to understand that it's important that we deliver the quality all the time. And it was so easy. I mean, she's super dedicated. They have the water filtration, they have the temperature, they brewing coffee all the time. And yet she managed to not make it as she liked. And it's great that she could say, oh, well, let me make it again. It was a little bit short. The second brew on the AeroPress was perfect. And you could really see this coffee singing. But this is such an unusual thing. Usually, you get the coffee and you go. But we need standards. We need people taking their own responsibility for the work of the roaster and the farmer. And we can only do it when we certify each person on the chain. So we'll need certifications for producers to know how they produce coffee, to be super transparent, to also say things like, how much CO2 they're producing. There are, super utopian high-end standards. But once we have these standards, we can move forward as an industry. each country right now, in Costa Rica, Guatemala, Colombia, they all working separately on making a more sustainable future. We need all these big organizations, governmental, non-governmental, ICO, SCA, CQI, World Coffee Research, to sit down and work out together what do we want for the industry for the next 20 years. And having dark roasted coffee from Starbucks is not the answer. It's not bringing anyone any benefits. So I was mentioning about the wine industry. There is master sommelier, is a person who is charming and who is representing the industry. He's representing the wineries. He's not alienating the customer as we do quite often, unfortunately, in the specialty coffee, but is bringing customer in and putting them on the journey. We really badly need that. And the standards in selling. That's something I've done for Harrods a few years ago. We did 20 coffees, categorized them for coastal microclimate and volcanic soils, and then we brew them. You could choose any coffee in any brewing. This is coffee for purists, but I really want to find the purists, find the people who are interested in particular flavors, and give them the opportunity to look for it in, let's say, Bogota, in big cities probably at the beginning, but pay for it good money, bring the fame to the producers, and show us the higher grounds, higher standards in a coffee. I argue that there is specialty coffee is anything above 80 points with the unique attributes, but it's so inclusive, it's almost vague. And any dark coffee, milky coffee, is all specialty. So I want to distinguish what's the higher grounds, where is the highest we can get. And I'll argue this is the ultra specialty. If we in common agree on the standards. I'm working right now with Csahan Redsan from Zurich University of Applied Science. So I think representative and ownership of academia is very, very interesting. It guarantees impartiality. And then obviously there needs to be a forum with big institutions, government and non-governmental, and we can get to the higher grounds. Based on ultra specialty, I believe that one day we're going to have luxury coffee, something that there is luxury wine, but we won't have it anytime soon. There's a pedigree that it's going to take generations. But I believe this is the only way how we can progress, how we can make hard work of producers more sustainable and better. Because right now, producing coffee of 88 points, the price is just so low, and there is so much more work needed. I believe that if we are certified, we can charge the customers a lot, but we can guarantee that the quality is there. Right now, we cannot. There are standards in how we produce coffee organic, how we pay for coffee fair trade, which I don't think is changing life for that much. But we don't have anything about quality. There are just guides, guías. So I was mentioning that I'm working with this Coffee Excellence Center in Zurich. We really need Ana Café, Fede Café, Brazil Specialty Coffee Association, and all the other like Café Cocoa in Peru, for example, and then ICO to have the impartiality and have the standards that are changeable. Like now with the old coffee infusion with new fermentations and new flavors in coffee, we need to be more flexible than what we have right now. I don't even believe that the Q grading system is the best way to represent coffee. I really like describe coffee rather than judge it, because like if coffee is buggy, for example, you just put points on it. You don't say that it's buggy. If the coffee is roasted, underdeveloped, you just write that, you score it down for acidity, let's say. But no, the problem is that the coffee was roasted, there was not enough development. So I really would like to see more of the descriptions and how we fix the problem rather than just putting pointless numbers on the coffee. And I'm Q-grader, so I think that can be better. We can do better. We can be more flexible. especially with this super fast changing industry. So ultra specialty are certified license standards that are essentials for the producers, roasters, and sellers that are interested in handling this extraordinary coffee. So basically, if you have a perfect coffee, you want a perfect roaster with all the variables ticked there. You want a seller who knows how to speak of coffee and has all the tools to represent the farm and the roaster. And you want a barista who has all the equipment to deliver the perfection. And only with this perfect chain, like on the top, we can move up in the industry. We can raise the prices of all these coffees between 85, 88. But I'm only thinking about something outstanding, so 88 plus. So I made some proposals for conditions, and of course we will need to monitor the standards, and I thought about M Cultivo the most because they're already doing so. I'm also on the board of directors of ACE, it's Alliance of Coffee Excellence, and for Cup of Excellence, M Cultivo is doing auctions and monitoring a lot of things. And I think it will be perfect that we can have these standards, have certifications, and monitor them with M Cultivo. Well, that will be it. Do you have any questions? See?
I saw you before in London. I'm from London actually. My family have coffee farms here. You mentioned something that I agree with you regarding the scoring system. Sometimes you get people from, they come here to buy farms and they bring their own people to do the Q testing. But we also have good people as well. So there is always this balance. Because obviously it's the purchasing power. Okay? Yeah, you know, my guy is saying this, you know, it's not that great like you said. So I think what you said about the scoring system should be changed. I think it should be changed.
I think so. I know that. Thank you for the question.
Yes, because probably have you heard about Mammoth coffee?
I think it's representing super high quality coffee for everyone, right? Well developed coffees. I know these guys very well, and they're buying great coffees. But this is for me what specialty is. It's a Mammoth coffee, and it's okay. They're selling a lot of coffee with me. It's okay. But I'm talking about. Let's certify it. Let's find the ultra speed. Where is the highest standard? When I'm in Tokyo and I want to have the best coffee experience ever, what do I put in the Google search? Because if I put specialty, I'm gonna have all the Starbucks there. If I put specialty here, the definition for it will be tostado. Which is okay if this is specialty, but then we need something higher out there.
Because my member of my family, he's the head roaster for Mammoth, so we understand a lot about this scoring system thing, okay? And actually, you have said a lot of things that I completely agree with you. I did my final paperwork at university at the Royal Agricultural University. I did it in a test. My thesis was in coffee certifications, and they, and fair trade is not that fair. I'm not trying to be here a Che Guevara or anything. Coffee is coffee, but I think what you say is true. Everything has to change. We must move on to pay, like you say, pay more attention to the producer. Okay? Let's explain to you how you can do it better. No, that the market is driving you to do better. No, let me explain to you how you can do better. Not because the market is dictating that we are going to that. But anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
It's a pleasure, your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
By the way, the traceability thing, I'm working in a blockchain project here for the traceability thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's super important that we can, get better, get to the better coffee not for everyone probably, because 90% of people, 50% of people in UK they drink instant coffee, and it's okay. It's okay. I don't knock instant coffee. I think there's a journey, and some people they never get further, and it's fine. We need the entire coffee industry to grow, but without these super high standards, we are stuck in the same place, and we don't know what's specialty, what's better, what's worst. You know, it's super confusing for me. And as a customer, you just don't know. And you're going to the place, they're supposed to sell you something good, and they just selling you something vegetal, you know? And they call this a specialty as well. And it's just very confusing. So I really think we need better standards.
Hey.
Hola.
I have a question, and the question goes on this way. It's more for the producing side. What will you think is the key or a recommendation that you will insist on producers to do to get to that ultra specialty coffee?
Thank you. I believe right now we need to identify, I want to identify the best farms in the world. So let's find the farms through the Cup of Excellence. The farms that are winning every year. You know, it's not coincidence. If somebody is, you know, finishing in top 10 of a Cup of Excellence, 5th year in the row, it didn't just happen, right? Somebody scored this coffee, they cup these coffees, there's always 24 impartial judges. That means that this farm doing something outstanding. We need to put these farms, those farmers who are exceeding, who are out there as a forefront of the industry for a given country. So they can stop, you know, producing cheese. That's what's happening quite often, right? You know, hedging against coffee, you produce cheese, you produce different fruits. We need to put those guys who, they're already there, you know? It's not like they are not there. We have Finca Elida from Panama. These guys, they're there. They just don't call themselves ultra specialty, but they have all the prerequisites and put them at the front to teach other people. You know, I don't think there are these obvious things that, you know, if you want to be certified ultra specialty producers, you probably need to cup your coffees at least. You need to be able to roast your coffee somehow, sample it. Because if you don't do it, like, how can you know anything about the end result? And it's the same thing with the roaster, with the seller, and or very similar, and with the brewer. So I think it's the best way is really to do the obvious, which is, you know, taste your results, know why you're getting these results. So knowing the, you know, how you're getting and why you're getting the results is the most important. But I hope that, you know, that soon we'll identify the farms all around the world and together be able to show who is the best and spillover effect. I think these best farmers, they will teach the rest. They will teach the people around them, you know, to bring them up with the quality. And I hope that if the coffee is certified along the chain, 88 plus, and, you know, by each member of the ultra specialty, you know, dream team, then the prices will boom around there, and it will make the farmers to actually aim there. Because right now, really, there is too little difference for so much more work, you know, achieving something, you know, 90, but not really be able to charge it. I mean, Panama is start doing it, you know, $255 per pound of coffee. I think this is fair price. But this is beginning. I really believe that with the certifications, we can drive the prices of the best coffees much higher. There are people who will pay any money if you can guarantee the experience. So answering to your questions, you know, knowing your results and how you're getting it. And I would love to speak to the best farmers and, you know, make a showcase that you can achieve it in each country and then, you know, move forward with it. Thank you. See? I think we have to finish soon, they already, but let's have a last question.
Hi, I'll be very short because I fully agree with you about that specialty coffee became a vague term, like it's hard to define. How do you think it's possible to avoid that ultra specialty in 10 years won't become the same, a vague term?
I think the problem with the specialty is vagueness and the vague definitions of things. The inclusiveness inherent in the term, because there are some people and some organizations which really want, you know, be inclusive. They want everyone on the board. I don't want anyone on the board. If you're not perfect in what you do, I don't want you there, and you won't be there, you know? And this is very easy, cutting yourself off if you're not fulfilling these things, or if you are fulfilling at some point, you are certified ultra specialty by independent body, right? At some point, something might happen. You might lose the status, and then you have to really regain it. So it's a privileged club. It's not the club. It's not inclusive. I'm exclusive. I want to focus on the best of the best. And you know, if you want to focus on non plus ultra, nothing above, then you have to be exclusive. So I think that will guarantee that, you know, it's a privilege to be there. You know, it's a dream team. And I believe that in the future, because we will identify this ultra specialty roster, let's say, right? So let's say I will even give names because some guys that are just amazing and they should be certified, like, you know, Onyx from US. They're doing a great job, and each coffee they're roasting, they're killing it, right? So everyone would like to work with these guys who are certified, who can deliver. Every producer would, you know, dream to give the coffee to these guys because, you know, those roasters, they're only focusing on one thing and they're doing it perfect. And they're representing the farm, you know, perfectly. So I believe there will be no problem with it because I would not certify coffee with, you know, can you call ultra specialty coffee with milk? Probably not. But again, I'm just giving proposals to see, you know, how we can define collectively. But I'm coffee purist, and I want to focus on the highest quality. So coffee with milk wouldn't be probably one of those.
Thank you.
Right, I think we have to finish, right? Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.